So all of that was super awesome and so helpful. Thank you. But you told me all of this that we're talking about today comes down to a game of tennis, that it will help with all the relationship crap. So please explain what you meant, because it's time.
Fair enough. And I wasn't avoiding it, by the way. It's just I needed to lay the groundwork, because I can't explain the game of tennis unless you understand how to hold a racket and how big the court is and so on.
Yeah, I know.
So it was all the preliminary stuff.
Okay, I know.
Now, can you have a relationship with zero interactions? Like, these people don't interact in any way. They don't think about each other. They don't even...
No.
And can you have a relationship with just a couple interactions? Like, I shook their hand once at a convention and we never talked again.
No, that's where people say, oh, it's an acquaintance, because it's not any kind of relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. So technically you can, because we can have a relationship with anyone. We can have a parasocial relationship with an influencer we've never talked to. But in normal everyday speech, what people mean when they say relationship is what? Multiple interactions.
Yes.
So would you say that a relationship requires a series of multiple interactions, back and forth interactions?
Yes.
Right. And so if every relationship is a series of multiple interactions, what happens when the majority of those interactions are bad or disharmonious or discordant?
Then the relationship is crap.
Yeah. And what happens if the majority of those little interactions are fulfilling and high value and joyful?
Then the relationship is heaven.
Right. So would you say that the quality of the interactions determines the quality of the relationship, since they're identical?
Yeah.
Bad interactions, bad relationship.
Yes.
Good interactions, good relationship.
Yes.
Okay. And so what makes a great tennis game? Is it a great tennis game if we have one interaction and I just serve and it's over?
No.
Is it a great tennis game if there's some back and forth and good interactions and a good hit there and a good hit there? And
yeah, I like when they keep the ball in the air and
they're rallying.
And they're rallying and they're yeah.
Yeah, and to them it's like a dance. It's like a good game. Even the world's best doesn't want to walk up onto the court and done, I win.
Yeah, no, that's not fun.
Right. So the quality of a relationship is determined by the quality of the interactions. And the quality of a tennis game is determined by
the quality of the interaction with the ball.
And the other player.
Yeah.
The ball is the check boxes. So in a relationship, you have partner A and partner B, and they're interacting, but they're not interacting over nothing. Every interaction is about something.
Sure, yes.
So that something is the ball.
Okay.
And so if you're talking about should we sleep in or should we get right to work, the ball for that interaction is wake up times.
Right.
If you're interacting about should we get divorced, the ball at that point is about commitment or loyalty or money or whatever.
Okay, I got you.
If you're interacting over vegan diet or carnivore diet, then the ball is household nutrition.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got you.
Right.
I got you.
Right. And if you want a good relationship, what do you have to do with every interaction, on every topic, with every ball?
Well, the check boxes thing, they have to you have to be on the same pace and direction. You have to have the same the same boxes checked, and you have to be on the same page about it.
Right. So that ball needs to have the same pace and direction.
Right.
Now, in tennis, there are singles and doubles. If you're playing singles, you're playing against the other player and trying to beat them.
Yes.
So if you're in a relationship and you're like, I want a divorce, and I don't want a divorce, and I want a divorce, and I don't want a divorce, are these friendly interactions?
No, they're not.
Right. And what happens with the ball? Does it go the same pace and direction, or are they hitting it in opposite pace and direction each time?
No, they're hitting it in different pace and direction because they both have their feelings involved now.
And completely opposite. One's hitting it north towards that wall, and the other one's hitting it south away from that wall.
Yes. So they're going a different direction. Yes.
Right. But if you want a good relationship, what if you're playing doubles and you're both on the same team and there's an empty spot on the court? Now you both want to hit it to that empty spot on the court. Yeah. You both hit the ball the same pace and direction on the same trajectory.
Right.
You're cooperating.
Yes.
Right. And when you do this, you're both in agreement on the topic. You're both in harmony on the topic about this checkbox, whatever the interaction is.
Right.
And it's going to feel
amazing.
Right.
It feels easy.
Right. Yeah. But if your partner suddenly runs away to the other side and turns your doubles match into a singles and they're playing against you,
Yeah, it doesn't feel great.
Every interaction is going to feel
horrible.
Right. And so here's our relationship, a series of interactions about various topics. And if we want a good relationship, we need to figure out a way to be on the same pace and direction as our partner. And sometimes it's going to be your turn to set a boundary and stand for a deal breaker and let your partner adjust their pace and direction because, honey, this is my deal breaker. You're going to have to change.
Yes.
And other times it's going to be your turn to change the pace and direction and get on their level. Like you said about camping, like, oh, Cyn, I'm really not big on camping, but this is important to you and I care about the relationship. So I'm going to change. I'm going to give it a shot and I'm going to have fun with it and I'm going to do the best I can. And who knows, maybe I'll end up liking it. And now when I start liking camping and I've become familiar with it, I've brought harmony to our pace and direction and our trajectory on that interaction, on that ball. And that discussion, that interaction is going to feel good. And you're going to feel good about me as a partner.
Yeah.
Right. And we have a whole episode about communication.
Yes.
And how to communicate well and how there's energy and attention and value behind everything you communicate. But even if you're not the best at communication, just understanding the tennis analogy, understanding relationship tennis can be a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
If you are able to see what box is being discussed, right? You can see the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're able to see what pace and direction your partner's trying to hit this ball, and if you're able to harmonize with that and follow a similar pace and direction on that topic, you're going to get closer to your partner. And if you also know when to stand your ground and set a boundary and let them change their pace and direction, then that's going to make your relationship life easy too. Because you know what you're doing. You understand the situation and you know when to set a boundary. And you also know that if they separate or they don't like it, that they're not a right fit because you have a very important checkbox not being met, a deal breaker that's not being met. And there's someone else on the planet of 8 billion people who's going to fulfill that checkbox. And if this person is not willing to change on that one, you're probably not the right fit for each other. If atheism is really important to me and my Christian partner refuses to change, we're probably not a good fit. That's okay.
Yeah.
And so part of relationship tennis involves being cold. Like being cold is talked about as some terrible thing, but heat's supposed to exist in the world and cold is supposed to exist in the world.
True, true.
Sunshine's supposed to exist and rain's supposed to exist. Mm-hmm. And every human should at some time in their life take a firm, cold stand for a boundary. Otherwise, they're a people pleaser who has no boundaries and is never cold to anyone and literally dissolves their personality and everyone runs roughshod over them.
Agreed.
So a little bit of coldness is vital for everyone in every relationship.
Yeah, and when you're a people pleaser,
we have an episode on that too.
Yeah, we do. And if you're a people pleaser and you're not used to setting boundaries and speaking your truth and what you need and want, it feels not just cold, it feels painful. It feels like you're upsetting that person and it feels like you're the end of the world. But the only reason it feels like that is because you're not used to doing it. 2, you're too worried about what they're going to think. And what you really need to be worried about is how you feel and what you want. And I know that also may sound cold, but it's not. It's because you can't pour from an empty cup.